The thought process of whether XRP can break higher and run exponentially in this season is creating a lot of confusion in the XRP community itself. I'm not trying to put the argument that XRP is about to take over the world, but if you do take your time to research and understand what exactly is happening in the market, you can arguably put the perspective that XRP adoption is about to increase exponentially, and that means the value of that will come in place. But you do have to understand this is a market where people trade based on speculation. It's not 90% utility. Right now, it's 90% speculation. So if you want to make money in this market, you need to understand what the market cycle means. Say, look at the price action right now. Did you guys actually watch yesterday's video? What did we say here? Yesterday, we talked about Bitcoin on a daily chart, putting the argument that I think we are going down. The odds are in that side. Why is that? Because when you look at the price action, it does show you something like this. But what's positive about this? Yeah, that move is happening. But even at the same time, you do see assets in the payment industry trying to push higher, assets trying to trend higher. It's actually positive because dollar is slowing down. And for XRP, if you actually zoom in on XRP Bitcoin chart, you have a trend line which you're trying to break off. Now, if we get a retest and a bounce from this range, it is going to be bullish because remember, the price has done things differently. We have seen double bottoms, triple bottoms back in the past. So can we do that again? Let's break that down. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. I'm so thankful for all of you guys who are actually dropping these comments. I'm trying to respond to each and every one of you. I'm so thankful that you guys are here and supporting this channel. Now, if you actually try breaking things down, you need to actually understand, yes, we are all here for XRP. But that doesn't actually change the fact that the payments world, the CBDC world, is big. So if you actually go through the recent Project Polaris from Bank of International Settlement, you actually go through a lot of different information where you actually understand, like, it's not just Ripple, the company who is competing in this space. Because if you actually look at this, you actually have a lot of others, like the Quan, the Accenture, Ripple. All of them are in this space. Yes, Ripple stands there and that gives us a foundation for sure. But you do have to understand this. There are other companies which are trying to take a part of this payment space. Now, they're also getting attention. It's not just they are here. It is like they're getting a lot of attention. If you actually look at the BIS Innovation Hub and the G20 Tech Sprint, this kind of get the attention of governments, right? So you actually see 3 different projects, couple of them from the UK and one from US. So you go down researching of what they do, how they do, how things are evolving, and you kind of get a better understanding of, okay, this is the space we are talking about. So that doesn't actually mean like XRP is going to take over the entire CBDC spectrum. You'll have different walled gardens for sure. And the need for an interoperable bridge asset, agreed, 100%. It is there. But that doesn't actually mean each and every network is going to use that, because now you have a world where you are watching them splitting apart. The G7 is moving in a different direction. BRICS is moving on a different direction. So it actually will be a different scenario, but you will still see massive adoption for XRP Ledger. There is no doubt in it. The way in which the ledger in itself is moving forward kind of shows us the fact that, okay, there is no going back. The positive movements is high. But keep in mind, understanding the macro is the key. Dollar is at a resistance And if it gets rejected to the downside, it's going to give markets some room to run. It's going to be great because remember, when the actual coins started running up earlier this year, like the AIs, the Fetch, the AGIX, and all, you actually got dollar slowing down and dropping. That actually allowed them to run higher. Now we are at a space where you're looking at different nations, and here in Japan, you're watching gold at all-time highs. So something is happening in that economy where people are moving on to a safe haven asset. Now that's Japan. But then you actually look at another country where inflation is going through roof and people are moving into crypto assets. Why do we think that's so? Because safe haven assets, you're trying to hedge against the inflation for sure. Everything is agreed. But the difference is the ROI is entirely different. If you look at the ROI structure for gold over the last 5 years and crypto over the last 5 years, you will understand what we are highlighting. That means you may not actually need a lot of whales to buy in. You will still see a lot of retailers coming into this asset class as their currencies collapse. The governments across the globe, the central banks, are printing money like crazy. They've done that last 3 years. Now, the inflation has slowed them down. But think about this in a moment. Inflation is still there, a little bit for sure. And you're actually heading into the election territory in different nations, whether it's the Canada, whether it's the US. So governments want to keep all these people happy. They're going to print more money. They don't care about inflation. They would like to keep people happy by sending them free check. So this is a possibility we see. You need to actually understand that. So here, coin graph actually highlight shortly after Vitalik's MKR to Ether sale, another Ether holder swapped 690 for Ether. Okay, so you're actually watching things moving around. One maker to Ether, another Ether for maker. And I'm like, there are things happening. So you need to actually understand how this is evolving, right? When you actually look at this, you do get the idea that Ether-based DeFi lending platform, and that allows users to lock in Ether into the smart contract to mint their stable coin. So you're actually looking at something which is happening in the market. The market will always be manipulated. But for XRP and XRP Ledger, the talk about burning your XRP to get the XRP Plus, the new side ledger asset, that's actually becoming a talk. It's completely up to you whether you want to do that. But as of now, I'm completely happy with what I have as XRP. I'm not actually trying to break this down and run into a different one because it took 6 years to accumulate what I have. So basically, you're going back to look at what's the reality, who's trying to FUD the market, who's trying to hype the market. And this is something interesting. When I actually look at this and I'm like, okay, this is huge, right? So if this is true, as I think it is, onledger.net actually put this one out, highlighting the fact that he wrote to Western Union and they responded like this. So if we can believe him, then that means, as we highlighted, it is true that that news was old, pretty old. And these guys were actually pushing it as a new one, and the issue here is when the hypers and fudsters try to put in old information and present it as a new one, the news outlets are starting to take it, showing like this is the new news. It's new, it's breaking, that kind of thing. So the new guys in the market are getting manipulated. What you have to understand is if there is some kind of news like that, obviously the price action would reflect that. You would see a push to the upside. Right now, what you're watching is that the price is slowing down on a shorter horizon. You're making lower highs. And if you drop, putting in a lower low, that would mark a concern. You may actually go back down to 0.48 or the wick lower, which is 0.42. So is this asset bullish for the long run? For sure. But on a shorter horizon, as I highlighted in the last video, we still have room to the downside because if Bitcoin drops, you need the Bitcoin dominance to drop. Otherwise, altcoins will bleed. But not all the altcoins are showing you that it's bleeding. Some of them are trying to stand up against this. So you literally have to go look at each of those assets. Say, for example, if you actually take SNX against Bitcoin, you're watching that it is trying to climb up against the market, which is actually a positive news, because if you actually draw your trend line, this is what you're watching. So we are actually watching the SNX USD chart. There are a lot of opportunities which actually exist in the market right now. So you need to understand what the micro move looks like. You need to understand what the medium term and macro move looks like. That's where you get your targets. Because if not, you'll actually wait for the breakout, the price moves, and you end up buying at a resistance. You really don't want to do that. Say, if you plot this here, you will actually watch, yeah, there is a bit of room to run higher. That is positive. You need to understand where the resistance levels are. If not, buying at the resistance can really hurt you. So understand this, the market is still trying to move in and around. We are still at $1 trillion mark. So jumping back onto the XRP perspective, keep this in mind. If you actually zoom out on XRP and look at it on a weekly, the XRP BTC chart shows you it didn't actually retrace all the way back down here like the USD side. This is against Bitcoin, an appreciating asset, right? That means bulls are still here. And this retest, if that's successful, which I think it will be, because looking at the RSI, the strength didn't actually go down. It's trying to come back to the support and bounce off. To get proper validation for that structure, you'll have to move on to a monthly chart. And the monthly chart does show you that we tried to reach the new level of swing high, but it failed. We put in almost an equal top, but in that case, what matters as the next step is, can we put in a higher low again? That matters. If we do, bulls are winning. That means, yes, the next high is going to be coming soon, but the amount of patience you guys had in this asset till now, you may not actually need that long to watch this asset running higher. We've explained that reasons again and again, over and over, but remember this, once an asset starts trending higher, you don't have too much time in the market to reach the next all-time highs. You will definitely watch a lot of people suggesting you to hold on to this asset for hundreds of thousands, or if not till I don't know how long, but there will be a lot of people who will actually put that perspective saying, hold on to this asset, don't sell this asset. So I actually had to share something from my thought process saying, guys, if you don't take profit, someone else will do that. After, going through a lot of you guys and your portfolio and discussing through that, I personally understand one thing. There's a lot of guys who are going to make a ton of money when the price is at $6, $9, $10. So am I betting that you guys won't take profit and the price will go to 100,000 in that time horizon? I don't really think so. You guys will take profit. When your portfolio is running all the way from your 100,000 units to $1 million, you will do that, because most of you have the average around 0.3, 0.4. That means around 10x, 20x, 30x, as the price goes higher, as your portfolio balloons, you will actually watch people taking profits. If not 100%, they'll still take 50%. That is healthy. So you will still see people highlighting the fact that, wait for $100, $50, that kind of narrative. But believe me, you'll watch a lot of big accounts moving out of this asset when it actually reaches that high. Make sure you understand these resistance levels and you do take profits. Not a lot of people do that. You have the responsibility to your family so that you can give them a better standard of living. So the responsibility is on your shoulders, which means you have to educate yourself, not based on the hype, but based on the reality. You'll have to read, you'll have to learn. And that's why we try to give you guys the right perspective at the right time. And if you are looking at that for a lot of different assets inside this market, then you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. So guys, if you received value, please do hit that like and subscribe button. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.